Hello and welcome to the Beat Cancer Answer, brought to you by BeatCancer.Org, the Center for Advancement in Cancer Education. We believe that 90% of all cancers could be eliminated through environmental and lifestyle choices alone, and science agrees. Unfortunately, most people don't know it. So we provide the education that can help you prevent, cope with, and beat cancer through diet, lifestyle, and other immune-boosting approaches. On every podcast, we will feature an expert who can teach us how to become part of that 90% who could prevent getting diagnosed with cancer. If you already have cancer, we have empowering information for you too. Over the past 40 years, we have helped thousands of cancer patients get back into the driver's seat when it comes to their personal journey of healing cancer and preventing future reoccurrence. On this episode, Director of Community Outreach, Debra Melamed, speaks with Regional Sales Director of Foundation Medicine, Amy Macalintal, about their comprehensive genomic profiling tests.
Hello there, this is Debra Melamed from BeatCancer. I am the Director of Community Outreach, and I've been taking a course called Cancer for University through Jenny Herbacek, and I've learned about some incredible tests, and today we're going to learn about one of them. I am here with Amy Macalintal. She's the Regional Sales Director for Foundation Medicine. They offer comprehensive genomic profiling tests for people with a confirmed diagnosis of cancer. It's a really wonderful option if you have a more advanced cancer, maybe if your chemotherapy has not worked and you're out of options, or you're looking for options, or if you have a reoccurrence. So Amy's going to tell us all about these tests and the benefits of personalized testing. Hi, Amy. How are you? Welcome.
Good, Debra. Good. Thank you for inviting me to this. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm wonderful, and I'm so excited to see that there's these wonderful advances and new tests that are available and options. So I'm really excited for our members to learn about these options.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell us what comprehensive genomic profiling actually is? Because I don't think people really know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to. So it's a pleasure to, have this opportunity to speak with everybody and kind of share and, parcel over some information on comprehensive genomic profiling because we've made some really great strides in this area. I would say I've been with Foundation Medicine almost 6 years now. It's been phenomenal just seeing some of the things that we've been able to do for patients. We have a lot more discovery to do, but really what comprehensive genomic profiling is it's really taking one single test that looks at all types of oncogenic genes. So these are genes that are studied or published in journal articles that we believe drive cancer. Okay. There has been other tests on the market up until these past several years where it's just more single gene testing, and doctors have been doing it for a very long time. Where Foundation Medicine has taken a different approach in comprehensive genomic profiling is we look at all the oncogenic gene drivers. So there's 300 plus oncogenic gene drivers that we have identified at this point in time. And we think of it as these are genes that could be, picked up in any part of your body or be mutated in anywhere of your body when you have metastatic cancer. So the idea of the test is really to just identify which genes are mutated and then, put them with associated targeted therapies, et cetera.
Okay. So then there's an alteration then in the cancer cell DNA. Something changes.
That is correct. Yeah. So really what we're thinking or what we have seen happen is the genes, each one of those 300 plus genes, any one of them can mutate to a different alteration. They could have a different copy number alteration. They could have insertions, deletions. There's all different forms of things that could go on with each and every gene that could help or that could, basically spur the tumor cell to grow. And that's where we come into play is we're looking for those individual genes that are driving the tumor's growth.
I see. Is that all different kinds of cancers or?
Yes. Yep, absolutely. So today, what we target, we target all solid tumor cancers. So it could be anything from lung cancer, colon cancer, breast, cancers unknown primary, prostate, anything like that, any solid tumor. But we also then have a hematologic testing platform as well. So we can also look at your your leukemias, lymphomas, that type of thing, in addition to the solid tumors.
That's really incredible. Huh. So,
yep.
So let's talk about who would be a likely candidate. It's somebody who has a diagnosis and maybe things have not been working and they're looking for something more personalized.
Absolutely.
Or maybe a reoccurrence has happened.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, Debra. So, yeah, typically where we are seeing this test position today or being ordered by physicians is with patients that have, maybe they've gone through standard therapy, perhaps chemotherapy, et cetera, and maybe they've either had a reoccurrence in their disease or the disease was identified and progressed to metastatic cancer. And so the physicians might think, okay, I need some options here. I need to know what I'm looking at. Maybe if chemotherapy isn't working, now what can I do? So really where we see most of our testing is coming from those two areas of, either reoccurrent or metastatic cancer types. And then, the doctors send off for testing, of course, and then we try to help give them or provide them with possible alternatives that could work, which could be not only targeted therapies, we also will suggest clinical trials that might be applicable to the patient's genomic profiling.
Okay. And I also saw some of the treatment could be an approved therapy for a different type of cancer that may happen to just come up to work for yours.
Absolutely.
That's very interesting.
Again, it is incredibly interesting. And again, it kind of all makes sense, right? So if you're thinking as your body as one big system, right, historically, how we have been testing is typically to the tumor type itself. So for example, if you have breast cancer, we have looked at only breast cancer genes. And where we have really shifted the focus here at FMI is we're saying, hey, let's think outside of the box. Could there not be genes maybe that you would find, say, in colon cancer, but they're now found in the breast cancer that are mutated? Makes total sense because the body is one system, right? So that's why we look at all these 300 plus genes because we want to be oncology or tumor type agnostic, meaning that it doesn't really matter for us where the tumor started or where the origin is. We're going to look at all those genes that could possibly be considered drivers for those tumor in the body. So that's kind of like the difference for us.
So that must really help the physician, the oncologist. I mean, I guess chemo is just very broad-based then, and now the oncologist has really specific information then to help target the therapy, and this saves a lot of time and a lot of trouble, I guess you would say, because now you're actually treating with exactly what you know is going to work.
Yeah.
It really does make a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense. And I'm not saying that we have all the answers to everything, but we have seen some amazing stories come to fruition with, these kind of like targeted therapies that are out there. And you're right. It does help. Like the test typically takes about 2 weeks once we get the specimen in the door to test.
Okay.
So, once we get the report back out to the doctor, it will help give them some suggestions for these targeted therapies. And also, the advancements of immunotherapies is the hot target as well. We also look at, suggestive immunotherapies that could possibly help the patients if there are some that would make sense or suggestive based on their tissue.
Okay. And do most people find a match to a treatment or a clinical trial or something?
Yeah, I would say right now we are looking at about 60 to 70% of the time, we will find something actionable that the doctor could consider. Now, of course, we do not have the whole patient history. We don't know necessarily if there's other factors that are playing in the part. Obviously, that's the physician's. They obviously have the wherewithal to know what is the best course of action for these patients given their whole patient history. But for sure, it can help give them some other ideas and suggestions as to what they're looking at, and maybe help with their, yes, exactly, help manage their cancer.
Yeah, it's wonderful because time is of the essence. So
absolutely.
So tell us, how is the test ordered? Does it require a prescription?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So the test on our website, FoundationMedicine.com, is one area where we keep the requisition to order the test, or a doctor can get it from their local account executive that covers their count in whatever state or city they reside. But the doctor does need to order the test, and then they simply fax the order or email the order back into Foundation Medicine, and then Foundation Medicine takes it from there. We worked with the pathology team to get the specimen. If it is a solid tumor, we'll work to get that in-house, and then, we just kind of take it over from there, and we do all the testing, and then we report the results back to the physician, usually without 14 days, like I said.
That's pretty quick. How is the testing performed? I mean, I think you're under the category of a liquid biopsy, so it's relatively non-invasive. It's just a blood test?
Well, so there's two different forms. You're right. We do have a liquid blood test, but then on our, we also have what we normally see. Majority of our stuff is on solid tumor testing. But what that means is, like, say let's use lung cancer as an example. Say the doctor wants to order testing, FoundationOne testing on a lung cancer patient. If the patient already has a solid tumor biopsy housed in pathology from maybe a previous surgery or something like that, we can usually use that specimen, and we prefer to do it off a solid tumor if we can, because we've seen a lot more success, truthfully, via solid tumor than we have liquid biopsy. Now, if the doctor says that same lung cancer patient, perhaps the solid tumor that was in pathology, perhaps there isn't anymore, or for whatever reason that specimen does not make sense to test, we can also do a blood draw, which is called, the test is called FoundationOne Liquid, where we basically analyze just the peripheral blood to look for cell-free DNA that could be picked up. Now, it's a smaller testing platform. It's like 70 plus genes as opposed to 300 plus genes, but it still is something that is an option to the patient should they not have any solid tumor available from a previous surgery or whatnot.
Okay. So there's a lot of options then, depending on your...
There are a lot of options, absolutely.
Okay. And do you want to tell us what the cost of the test is?
Yeah, absolutely. So for both the solid tumor and the liquid biopsy test, the list price, I would say, is $5,800. But there's a couple different things here that come into play. First of all, we do have we are FDA approved, and we do have we are approved with CMS as well for all Medicare patients with stage 3 or 4 reoccurrent, solid tumors or any, solid tumor cancers. So we are definitely covered in that area. And then we also work with commercial payers as well on reimbursement, and we've been quite successful in that area. If patients do need assistance with covering the cost of the test, we do have patient financial assistance that it's a pretty easy process to help the patients get coverage for the test. It's not, like I said, it's not a laborious process, and we don't want anybody to not have the test based on cost.
Okay. And I think I even read you help people get into clinical trials if they exist and they match for them.
Yep. So we do. We will suggest clinical trials over to the doctor on the patient's report that could possibly help identify, for example, if there are not any targeted therapies on the market today or immunotherapies on the market today, perhaps we could suggest a clinical trial that might be applicable to the patient. So we will do that. And then, we can kind of help guide the doctor if there's something a little bit more localized to the patient that could help them. I mean, there's various different avenues that we can do or help with patients that are looking for clinical trial access. So it just kind of, again, it depends on what the doctor knows the background of these patients and what would make sense. But yes, we do have a clinical trial option that we try to offer to patients or try to help get them to the right places. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because now the information's there, so everyone can see what these DNA alterations are, and things are coming up all the time. So
yeah,
this is just a wonderful advancement. It's great information. And
it is, really.
Okay, so people can find you at www.FoundationMedicine.com.
That's right. Yep.
And they can talk to their doctor. They can get a kit.
Yep. That's it.
That's wonderful.
Exactly. Yeah, and if the doctors, most doctors, I would say today have heard of Foundation Medicine for sure. But if for some reason, they haven't, or they would like more information, or the patients would like more information, the Foundation Medicine website has a 1-800 number to our client services team, and then they can connect, of course, to a local, a representative that's in that territory, or client services themselves can help address a lot of these questions too.
Well, this is wonderful. I love to hear that there's a more personalized approach, because I think it cuts down on time and even putting the patient through treatment that maybe really isn't for them. So now this is great information.
Yep.
Very
absolutely.
exciting advances. Thank you so much, Amy. I really appreciate you taking the time to tell us about your test. If anybody would like to learn more about the test, they can go to our website, www.BeatCancer.Org, and go under blogs. There's Cancer Free University, that I actually did a video blog with Jenny Herbacek. So you can sign up for Cancer Free University. It's actually 50% off for our members if you go under that blog. And you can read you can see the video actually that Amy did with Jenny. It's pretty extensive on this test and other tests. And Jenny also wrote a book, Cancer Free, Are You Sure? And their test is also in that book, along with other tests. So there's, no matter what your stage is or what your situation is, we want you to know that there's hope, and there's things that are available more and more every day that not everybody knows about. So we are here today giving you another option and more information, so you're empowered. Absolutely. And there's hope. That's our message today.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Yeah, thank you, Deborah. And, I hope to hear from you soon, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Thank you. Keep doing great work.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Beat Cancer Answer. If you learned just one thing today about how to prevent, cope with, or beat cancer, then we have succeeded in our mission. For more information or assistance, visit our website at www.BeatCancer.Org. Remember to sign up for our educational email series and get your free gift. Join in the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+, where you can meet others who think just like you. We appreciate all of your feedback and love your suggestions. Please also remember to rate us on iTunes. Your positive ratings help us to get discovered so we can save more lives. Thank you again for listening, and best wishes for good health from all of us at BeatCancer.Org.